if we are creating for God, and he's our primary reason why we're doing our creative art or project or whatever, then inevitably it's going to spill over into looking to serve even just one person with our thing and benefit them.
But that's where your headspace has to be.
Joining me today again is Magic Dave, my good friend. He's back. You can't get rid of him. He's here forever.
I've been here the whole time.
So we're talking about today of creating for the one with like a capital O. We're talking about God as our audience and creating for him. Because as creatives who are followers of Jesus, our art is going to have a different purpose behind it and a different intention for why we're doing what we're doing. That kind of connects with Dave. Dave, you got like what would you call it? A saying? A motto that dates back to like early NEBTHOS days.
Back in the ancient days.
Yes. Share it with us. What is it?
Well, I can't take credit for it. It's my friend Matt Shirley, who is a wordsmith in his own right, would always say creation for creator's sake.
Right.
And the creator not being the artist, but God. You know, the ultimate creator, the ultimate artist and inspiration. So
is there a story behind that? Like how he came up with that? Did he ever share that section of it?
Man, he was always coming with things off the top of his head.
Okay.
And granted, he might have stole it from somewhere else, but it was a phrase that we really latched onto in the NEBTHOS community or the JMP community, as it was in those days of just how do we create for the creator and just what it is that we're doing and how do you make it matter? You make it matter by making it have the greatest importance of just honoring God. And it doesn't necessarily have to be directly referencing God, but just like in whatever you're doing through your mind and your prayer of just pursuing Christ as a creative, this making sure that has the right orientation, the right purpose for making your art be about the one audience that we're called to worship.
Yeah. So how would we do that so that's something that, I mean, we're going against our human nature because with art, it can easily turn into like a self-worship fest. Like, look at me, look how awesome I am.
Yeah,
I'm amazing.
Absolutely.
As opposed to doing it for God. So how do we like switch gears and create for him?
It can be a battle because you really do want that affirmation and that response for what you've done. I think there's a level of sacrifice of being okay if your art or whatever it is that you did never sees the light of day outside of maybe the one person that you've made it, that God intends for that to be in the hands of that person.
Yeah.
I think of books in particular, just like, and I would often pray as I was writing sound in the gospel or gaming in the gospel, just like, God, if this goes into one person's hand and they see a greater vision of you, it's worth it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be okay with that. And there's days I've wrestled with that, absolutely. But that's where your headspace has to be, just like handing over that creation to God and then letting him do whatever he's going to do with it. And that's scary at times.
That hits home in terms of it being radically different than what we're used to.
Yep.
Because in today's like social media world, it's very much like big numbers. Like it's a success if it has like thousands of views or like thousands of likes or whatever. And if it doesn't have that, then it's like it's a failure.
Yeah.
Or even like big revenue numbers or whatever. It's kind of like how we've gotten used to measuring success on art. Yeah.
Yeah, how many views, how many likes, how many shares. Yeah, it's so easy to chase that. And it's very popular to be like, make it for yourself, but just like make it, if you're happy with it, that's all that matters. And yeah, that's good on its face. But there has to be a higher purpose in what we're doing. And that's what's going to bring satisfaction, even if it doesn't get a greater response. Does that make sense? Am I making sense here?
Yeah, I think so.
Kind of reaching, I feel.
No, that's all right. I mean, I definitely feel that tension, having like finished writing my book, which I talked about in the previous episode, that is now finished. Woohoo!
Woohoo! Second draft.
Yep. Closer and closer. But yeah, I tried to go into it from the beginning of thinking along the lines of, if just 10 people bought this book and that was it, then cool.
Yeah.
But there are days where it's hard. You see like other people's success online of their books and how many copies they sold, like thousands of copies sold, and something in you is like, I want that too.
Yeah.
Like I need that validation. Otherwise I'm a failure or whatever, a lame artist, fill in the blank there.
Well, then there's also a very practical side. It's like, I want to provide for my family.
It's true. I mean, it's definitely true for someone who's like a full-time creative or writer in some sense, because they are relying on that for income.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get it, that kind of commercialization side of it. But yeah, I mean, it's hard because it's like you want your thing to be good and you want people to like it. You're sharing it with the world, right? But then there's also something in you that craves like more, and it needs to be like big and huge and lead to like all these other spotlight kind of things for me.
Well, I think a very practical thing we can look at is this podcast right here.
Yeah.
As we are living in the year of our Lord of 2025, we don't have a whole lot of views.
Humble beginnings.
Humble. Yeah, there it is. Humble beginnings. But, we are stepping in obedience to what we feel God's called us to be creatives and to encourage one another, sharpen each other. Because I think that's exactly what we're doing right now. We're encouraging each other in the gospel of just like remembering what is important.
Yeah.
Views aren't important. The gospel is what is important.
Yeah.
Keeping in step with the Spirit. That's where it's at.
Yeah. So you brought this up a little bit about creating for the handful or one or handful of people who could really use what you're creating and putting out there. Do you feel like that's connected to creating for the one being God, or is it a separate thing?
Creating for a mass audience versus God?
Creating for like a small audience. Like let's say like the one person who really needs your thing.
Yeah.
And creating for God. Are those two things kind of the same and connected, or are they two separate things?
I think they could be connected. As I was writing gaming in the gospel, I was definitely thinking of some friends. I'm just like, I'm writing this for you.
Okay.
Just like, and so the majority of it, I'm writing this for me. I'm preaching to myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess in some ways we can be the one in what we're doing and in our pursuit of pursuing Christ. So, what do you think?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think they are connected. Kind of like love God and love your neighbor. How they're almost the same thing in a way. Like you aim at one, then eventually you'll hit the other one too, because they're so connected.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think if we are creating for God, and that He's our primary reason why we're doing our creative art or project or whatever, then inevitably it's going to spill over into looking to serve even just one person with our thing and benefit them.
Yeah, I love the scripture in Matthew of love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul.
Mm-hmm.
Love your neighbor as yourself. All the laws in scriptures, all the laws and prophets are hung on these two commandments.
Yeah.
And I think when we love God, others can take care of us. And when we love others, God will take care of us. It's this kind of triangle of how God takes care of us and how we can pursue things.
Unless it's your job and you're trying to make money off of it, then writing for a larger audience can have a side effect of burnout, I feel like. Because if it's always about more and bigger and like, that sort of thing, and that's why we're doing what we're doing, I feel like that could be a fast track to burnout if we're not careful.
Yeah. Yeah. Burnout almost happens very often when the thing that you're doing is not the thing that's giving you life.
Yeah.
I think as sound engineers, like the guy serving in the church, that's like, if he's coming in every Sunday and he's just doing sound every Sunday, he's the guy or a woman doing the audio. They're going to get burned out with that. But until they make it about something else, as far as like discipling or trying to love the band or taking care of other people, making it be about that and not just the audio, just like don't get burned out. And I think in pursuing your art, just if you're just making it, just cranking things out for the sake of content, but until you make it be about something else, you will get burned out on it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think as creatives, I think we can almost imagine like a single person coming across your art, whatever that is, and it's leaving them for the better because it's impacting them on a deep level somehow.
Yep.
And I think even if it's just that one person somewhere in the world, I think it matters.
Yep. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It has to be perfect enough.
Perfect enough.
Yeah. Because God can absolutely use that,
Yeah.
Yeah. God is a God of connection. You never know the string of creative ideas of how God can string them all together, make all these little connections happen that impact people that you'll never know. Or as Lin-Manuel Miranda says, legacy is a garden that you'll never see.
Nice. Yeah, good. So much for listening. I hope you got something out of my chat with Dave as we talked about how our creative projects are meant to glorify God and at the same time meant to serve those around us, even if it's just that one person that our work is meant to impact. In the long run, it matters. If you want more content like this, you can subscribe to my newsletter, The Hero's Journey, over at Substack. That's where I'm mostly hanging out these days, at evansdaily.substack.com. Link is also in the description. And I'll catch you in the next episode.